Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Mak Farime. So today I'm going to do the introduction. Strategic management can be defined as an organization management of resources in achieving its goal and objective. Strategic management also involves in setting objective, analyzing the competitive environment, analyzing the internal and the external of the organization, and also to ensure the strategies of the organization are being carried out by the management. Every organization must have their own strategies in order to survive in the future. It is essential for the organization to have strategies and to have preparation to face the different odds as the organization are dealing with a cruel world. For every organization in the world, they need also to have a SWOT analysis to know their strengths, their weaknesses, to explore the opportunities and to eradicate threats. If the organization does not do any SWOT analysis, it can give them disadvantage because they do not know what are their strengths, their weaknesses, how to explore the opportunities, and how to eradicate the threats towards their organization. So it is very important for any organization to know their strategies wisely, to have preparation, and to have SWOT analysis. The organization that we have chosen are Befrienders. Befrienders is a non-profit organization which was introduced to prevent suicide amongst the people in the world. Befrienders also provide emotional support to the people who are lonely, depressed, in despair, and also having a suicide thought.
Hi, I'm Anissa. So now I will explain the strength of befrienders. Strength in SWOT analysis can be defined as internal positive attributes, whether it is tangible or intangible, that can support for a successful outcome. First strength of befrienders organization is the expertise willingly to contribute the ideas and experience with befrienders. Befrienders has been known since long time ago with their free services. There are four services that befrienders offer such as face-to-face meeting, 24-hour call services, email and outreach. As example, the volunteers must join the workshop to develop their skill during an interaction with the people that need help from befrienders. The workshop will invite the expertise from mental health illness field. In September 2017, the volunteers attended a public talk by the consultant secretaries about preventing suicide. Take a minute and change a life in Kuala Lumpur. The volunteers also joined a workshop in World Suicide Prevention Day in 2016 for a month, which this workshop offered for four different languages such as Bahasa Malaysia, English, Mandarin, and Tamil. Many expertise from Ministry of Health and Ministry of Human, Family and Community Development give good contribution and cooperation when having a sharing session of their ideas and experience on how to handle the people with depression and loneliness. Therefore, the role of befrienders is important and as one of contributions in helping citizens of Malaysia to enjoy their better life. From here, it can be understood by the people that befrienders can be trusted in assisting the people to improve and develop better emotional health and well-being. Second strength is befriender use of technology called digital intelligence platform will lead a strategic focused solution-based approach towards suicide prevention. This platform is from USD Global Malaysia, which it assists befrienders to record retention and data management of those battling with the personal crisis or emotional distress or even suicidal who reach for their services. This digital platform is for better data analytics to help the organization provide a more focused and strategic approach towards suicide prevention, not only in Kuala Lumpur but throughout Malaysia. This new platform will provide volunteers with a quicker access to records, assess feelings, emotional needs of callers, provide empathetic listening, and explore options to help them deal with their suicidal thoughts. This digital platform This digital intelligence platform will store and monitor anonymized confidential electronic records of the meetings or conversations with callers who are overwhelmed by their problem, confused, and may be suicidal. The application is created to flag the site risks, and when the algorithm spots complex or worrying patterns, it allows the volunteers to review, discuss serious cases of suicide or self-inflicting injuries with clini- clinicians, medical professionals, and devise a case management plan.
Some of the weaknesses identified in Befrienders organization are in terms of people management and source of income. In the area of people management within the organization, there is no clear job description for the members or workers. The members' scope of task varies and depends on situation and victims. Some of workers might experience overlap of tasks. They might do both face-to-face session and handle call support, while others may just focus on call support or online support. Befrienders organization operates on voluntary basis and therefore there is no appropriate payment for the members or benefits like other employees. This might reduce their motivation to perform their duty. The second weakness is the source of income. Befrienders organization has no proper funding lines or permanent inflow of money. They depend on periodic donation from public or private parties. Yet, they have a lot of expenses to bear, such as operating expenses, which is telephone charges, electricity, and water bills, advertising services, as well as to conduct workshops.
Next analysis is opportunities. Since Befrienders is a voluntary-based and non-funding organization, they recognize various opportunities that other companies may have to act on them and leverage them, which can increase the success of the organization or venture. Thus, Befrienders has collaborated with other companies in online media in promoting its services, such as The Star, the Utusan Malaysia, and radio online podcast by BFM 89.9 radio station. For printed media, Befrienders has collaborated with the Sun newspaper. Mostly, Befrienders media expenditure was filled with support from the partnership and sponsored by the media industries. In addition to the primary function of emotional support, all Befrienders centers are also actively involved in public advocacy on issues related to mental health and suicide prevention at the local and national level. They achieve this by organizing forums on these topics, as well as giving talks and workshops at various organizations, schools, colleges, and universities. One of their key was annual events is a public forum that coincides with World Suicide Prevention Day in September, which was designated by the World Health Organization (WHO) and the International Association for Suicide Prevention (IASP) as a reminder to the global community of the importance and seriousness of tackling this issue. In 19 September 2015, Befrienders had a workshop with the theme of preventing suicide, reaching out and saving lives. Other than that, Ministry of Health has collaborated with Befrienders by formulating National Strategy and Action Plan for Suicide Prevention (NSA PSP). With the aim of minimizing suicides and attempted suicides, Ministry of Health has gathered the inputs or informations regarding this matter from various government agencies, professional resource persons, and the Befrienders organization. According to New Straits Times, Gangadhara Vedivel, chairman of Befrienders Kuala Lumpur, said that Ministry of Health has to play the lead while Befrienders are striving toward improved mental health and suicide prevention at national level.
Befrienders organization is a network of emotional support centers and unfortunately do not have a funding program. Nevertheless, the organization still operates with the aid of funds from various private individuals, Clearly, not having a stable funding system and having financial dependencies on too few resources may jeopardize the organizations during economic crisis of the nation. In reality, the government usually supports the NGOs, including befrienders, when there is sufficient supply, since the government has promised to commit their care for various societal groups. However, during economic crisis, government would definitely use the limited resource on more important areas compared to the NGOs, as there is change of focus in order to survive. Therefore, befrienders might face problems without funding backup from the government, and this will cause many projects and programs held by this organization become abandoned or worse, being shut down. Thus, it is proven that the nation's financial crisis is an existential threat to befrienders organization. Now we move on to the next threat, which is language barriers. Language barriers, it is the difficulties in communication experienced by people or groups speaking different languages or even dialects in some cases. According to statistics as stated in New Straits Times dated on September 2017, 80% of the callers in Malaysia are Mandarin speaking. Thus, volunteers are required to have the ability to be bilingual or trilingual in order to help more people in need of emotional support. According to statistics, befrienders receive around 4,000 calls each year, and about 9% of the calls are those with suicidal thoughts. Thus, each night, they need at least 4 volunteers to answer calls from 7 p.m. until midnight. The incapability for the volunteers to speak in other language will be the barrier and challenge for them to understand and communicate well with the callers.
The first challenge faced by Befrienders organization is to tackle mental health issue among the elder people. The President of National Council of Befrienders Malaysia once stated that the biggest challenge in the organization is to break the taboo among Malaysians. There is a stigma in the community which despises people whom had suicidal thoughts or actually had suicidal attempt, and this is common among the conservatives, especially the elderly group. The victims of the problem would usually not speak up about their experience. Therefore, Befrienders has stepped up efforts to engage their target groups by approaching youth association, tertiary association, and senior citizen associations. In many cases, the elderly did not like the idea of sharing their problems, especially with younger people. According to Befrienders, the elderly have a lot of experience and have contributed to so much towards helping other people, including their own children. But when they are faced with loneliness and health problem, they are uneasy about sharing their feelings. The second challenge is to develop empathy among members of volunteers. As a center that provides emotional support, the members of Befrienders must have the right knowledge and soft skills to help the victims and consult with them. However, developing empathy required more effort on the part of Befrienders without personal experience of mental health problems, and it was achieved with varying degrees of success. Befrienders described trying to understand their befriendees' experience through listening closely to the victims' stories, asking questions, attending to their emotional reaction, and relating the events to those in their own life. Even when a shared experience of mental health exists, a complete understanding of the victim's difficulties was seen as not necessarily possible or desirable. The third challenge is lack of fund. Befrienders organization unfortunately has no proper funding system. They operate on donations. However, Befrienders organization is expressing difficulty in finding sufficient and appropriate or continuous funding for their work. The organization has limited resource, limited mobilization skills, and is often put high dependency on donors from both private and public parties. Befrienders experience difficulties in getting enough and continuous funding in order to do their work. Getting donors is a hard task, and sometimes dealing with some specific donors. The first recommendation is to raise public awareness about suicide prevention. Befrienders could collaborate with public agencies to raise awareness about suicide prevention by conducting a public relation campaigns using advertising strategies to reduce stigma about mental health and increase acceptability of seeking help for emotional support. This can be done by display of posters, flyers, billboards, and broadcasts of public service announcements. They are tailored to rural communities which still left behind in awareness and knowledge on mental health issues. It aims to achieve decrease in attitudes of stigma about mental health among rural or veterans community. It is also done in order to increase the attitude in acceptability about seeking help for emotional support among veterans community members and increase knowledge of supporting individual in distress. The second recommendation is to attend training and workshops. The volunteers that would like to join Befrienders must attend workshop or training courses. Befrienders organization may have access to expertise through their collaboration and cooperation with Ministry of Health Malaysia. Training is important for the members as it is a form of learning process for them where they will learn listening skill, they will gain knowledge and confidence to support callers in crisis. The training shall expose the member to the example or the type of calls that may be received through practices, exercise and group discussions. Thus, the member and volunteers can learn on how to respond to the callers and victims. This will help prepare them to listen in more open and non-judgmental manners. The training should involve workshop session and supervision on the phone practice for a period of time. The third recommendation is fundraising programs. Instead of depends on government allocation or private donation, Befrienders organization should establish their own funding programs. They may start with the easiest and cheapest method, which is online fundraising. They must establish a website which is specialized to aid their online funding program. Accepting online donations can be difficult due to limited online banking infrastructure. Therefore, Befrienders should set up an account to receive credit card payments on PayPal. No matter how tedious process may be, accepting online donation is a huge step forward for the organization.
As for conclusion, every organization in the world need to have strategic management in their organization. This is because by having a good strategic management, it can improve the organization performance and it also will improve the production of the organization. If they do not have the strategic management, the organization's performance will not be improved and it also can drive them into uncomfortable situation in the near future. So it is very important for every organization to have the strategic management for a better future for them. Besides, SWOT analysis are also very important to any organization as it can help them to identify their strengths, their weaknesses, to explore the opportunities, to eradicate the threats. Any organization who are not doing this analysis, it might give them the disadvantage as they do not know their strengths, weaknesses, and how to explore the opportunities and how to eradicate the threats. Nonetheless, every organization must have these two important things because it can help them to be better in the future and it also can help them to be more competitive in the future.